From his earliest days milking cattle by hand on his family's Ross County dairy farm to his involvement with numerous Ohio agricultural organizations, Lewis Jones has brought a passion and steadfast commitment to the Ohio dairy industry for more than 50 years. His childhood was spent on the farm, raising and showing dairy cattle as a Ross County 4-H member for 11 years. After high school, Lewis knew he wanted to go to college, but he wasn't sure where until he was selected to go to 4-H Junior Leadership Camp the summer after his graduation.
Now, most of the campers at 4-H Junior Leadership Camp were either at Ohio State as students or about to enter Ohio State. So that short time, I made a lot of friends, and they did a lot of twisting my arm. And some of the leaders of the camp tried to convince me that I should be at Ohio State with my background on the farm. So instead of going to college with full scholarships, I worked my way through Ohio State with various part-time jobs. And that really led me to where I wanted to be, because I wasn't sure if I wanted to stay in agriculture. I know our farm wasn't profitable enough to support 2 families, and I knew that I couldn't go back and have a partnership with my dad and mother, so I pursued other things.
During his 4 years at Ohio State, Lewis worked at the university's dairy farm, was active with the Buckeye Dairy Club, and Alpha Gamma Sigma Agricultural Fraternity. He also assisted the Ross County 4-H advisors. Since his graduation from Ohio State in 1965, Lewis has remained a steadfast supporter of Ohio's dairy industry by volunteering at shows during the Ohio State Fair and Spring Dairy Expo and supporting exhibitors during the Sale of Champions.
In my time on this earth, I've had direct experience with milking cows by hand, cooling milk in water coolers, and everything else that goes along with hand milking cows. When I look at today, how far we've come since those days, and it's been a long time, when we have rotary milkers and genomics, etc., and all the other advancements in management, nutrition, and breeding, genetics, etc., I cannot imagine where we're going to be in the next 50 years.
One of the topics Lewis has been most focused on during his career was establishing clear show ring ethics for dairy exhibitors in the state of Ohio. Lewis thought that a standard should be set for breeders and showmen of all breeds, and told the director of the ODA that he felt Ohio's guidelines should be structured from the World Dairy Expo's program. And Ohio's new show ring ethics for dairy exhibitors began being enforced the very next year.
And now every state that has a major dairy show, every region that has a major dairy show, and all the national shows, it's a requirement to have a dairy show ring ethics program before they will accept you as a rated show.
Aside from his involvement with Ohio 4-H programs, Lewis's commitment to the advancement of agriculture has been apparent throughout his career. His service included the Ohio Department of Agriculture as Dairy Division Chief and later as Deputy Director, the Ohio Milk Haulers Association, and the American Guernsey Association as Executive Secretary. Additionally, Lewis has been a leader on boards and committees, including the National Conference on Interstate Milk Shipments and the Dairy Division of the National Association of State Departments of Agriculture.
I wouldn't be here talking to you if it weren't for dedicated people. People in agriculture, Ohio agriculture, and I'm sure it's the same in all other states, are dedicated to what they do.
Lewis thanks his wife, Carol, and children for the endless support they've given him throughout his career. He also thanks those he's been surrounded with at his jobs and the organizations he's been affiliated with throughout the years. Although his passion resides in the dairy industry, Lewis also is a committed member of his local community and is a weekly volunteer at the Mid-Ohio Food Bank.
None of us accomplish everything on our own. I've always looked back and see how much help I have had and know that I wouldn't be a success without those teaching me and me using them as an example. as long as you do your job, as long as you teach other people and learn all you can first, you'll be noticed.
The Ohio Agricultural Council is proud to welcome Lewis R. Jones Sr. as a member of the Ohio Agricultural Hall of Fame.